the 2016 race. My next guest has been attacked for these comments made at his own unscripted presidential announcement. Listen to this.
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists. And some, I assume, are good people.
3, 2.
And joining me right now on the telephone is Republican presidential candidate and Trump Foundation chairman and president, Donald Trump. Donald, thanks very much for calling in. We appreciate your time today.
Good morning.
So, I mean, in listening to that playback of what you said during the speech, how are you feeling? I mean, do you regret that you didn't have a script? Do you want to apologize for anything?
No, I don't apologize. Everybody knows what's going on. You have illegal immigrants pouring through the country. They're incarcerated. Many of them are in jails. You have hundreds of thousands of people going to state and federal penitentiaries. It just came out in the Homeland Security reports. You just have to take a look at them. The crime is rampant all over the place. You have the illegals just literally pouring, and not from Mexico only. They're coming from all over the world. You have them all over South America, but they're coming from the Middle East. They're coming from everywhere, and they're pouring through the border. We do nothing about it. And I'm saying make the border strong, and we will make the border strong. If I win, believe me, we will have an impenetrable border. We will have a strong border. People will come in if they're legally allowed to come in. But if they're not, they can't come in. And, you know, you don't have a country unless you have a border.
Well, we really have not heard a real articulate plan from any of the candidates in terms of immigration. What's your plan? How are you going to make it impenetrable?
My plan is to build a wall, and it wouldn't have to be necessarily complete because there are some areas where you don't need the wall. There are some areas where you'd have you'd have the military, and they'd be able to block it very easily. But basically, we would build a wall, and I'm very good at building walls and building things and building buildings, and this would be easy to do. I looked at the numbers that these characters came up with for a wall, and it's ridiculous. It should cost a really good job. Could cost 1/3 of the numbers I'm looking at, and that's what I do for a business. That's what I do for a living. But we need security at the border. We have to stop the illegals from coming in. They're coming in, and lots of bad things are happening when they're coming in. And not all these people are lovely, nice people, believe me.
And yet, those comments sparked a lot of controversy and pushback. Obviously, they canceled the Miss Universe pageant. You are now suing Univision. What are you looking to accomplish?
Well, I have a contract, and it's a binding contract. There are no termination rights. You know, I'm pretty good with contracts in all fairness, and it's a contract with Univision. And, you know, one of the saddest things is we have 51 beautiful, wonderful girls, women down in Louisiana right now, and they got there a few days ago. And this was canceled without any thought to these women. Some of these women worked their whole life to get into this position where they can become Miss USA. We're talking now about the Miss USA pageant, which airs in 2 weeks on Sunday. And they fought their whole life to get there. And all of a sudden, nobody thought about it from NBC. And I told them about it. I said, what about the women that are all arriving right now? They said, well, we don't care. They don't care. They couldn't care less. These are cold-hearted people. They know I'm right. They don't like it. And it's a problem. But in the meantime, I go up in the polls. I go out. I get the biggest audiences. I get the biggest standing ovations by far of anybody. Nobody's close. And we'll see what happens.
And you were talking earlier during the break about a new CNN poll that you say you have risen in.
Well, I hear there's a new CNN poll where I went up even higher than I was. So, you know, I'm in second place. I don't get George. You know, when you look at Bush, I don't get Jeb Bush. He was responsible for the appointment, in my opinion, because he was close to him, of Justice Roberts, and Roberts gave us Obamacare. He voted in favor of it twice. He could have killed it. And Obamacare is going to be a disaster for the business community, for people, and for the country. So I don't get Jeb Bush at all, and he's at 1 and I'm at 2, and a lot of people are very far behind. Well, so it's an interesting poll.
You said you don't get Jeb, and you know you've talked about some of the other candidates. But Donald, do you worry that you're attacking people in the GOP, among others, and are actually hurting your own party? I mean, let's say you don't win, you are hurting the chances of others. Do you care more about making sure people know how you feel about Jeb and the others than, in fact, beating, for example, Hillary?
No, I don't really think in terms of that. I'm thinking more in terms of winning. I'm thinking in terms of making our country great again. Our country's a mess. We're being beaten in trade. We're being beaten so badly in jobs and manufacturing. They're taking everything out of the country. They're stripping us. So I really want to win it because I know it can be turned around. And, you know, my theme is make America great again. We can make America great again, but these guys are not going to do it.
Let me ask you, Donald, I know you're suing Univision for $500 million. What about NBC? They've parted ways with you. Are you going to sue NBC?
So NBC and I had a great relationship for 12 years with The Apprentice. And The Apprentice, as you know, Celebrity Apprentice had a really great season last year. They were very, very intent and very sad when I decided to run for president. They didn't want me to because, as you know, it was extended. I was extended for a substantial period of time. But I said, I'm sorry, I have to do this. I want to run. I want to make our country great again. I'm not going to do that by doing Celebrity Apprentice. They were very upset about it. Then they said, okay, well, do it. And when you drop out real fast, we'll go. And they were all excited that I'd drop out. And then the polls came out last week, and I was number 2. And now the poll came out today, the new CNN poll, and I went even higher in the poll, and I'm doing very well. And they said, he's not dropping out. You're not dropping out when you're in this position. And I told them, if I'm not doing well, if I'm not resonating, I will leave and probably do The Apprentice. So I can tell you, they were not happy about that at all. That caused a lot of problems.
But they don't want you on The Apprentice now, Donald. They've said they're going to do The Apprentice without you. So,
no, now,
I mean, are you going to sue
don't.
NBC?
No, now they don't. Because, first of all, I told them I'm not doing it. They didn't tell me. I told them I'm not doing it because I'm going to run for president. And when you run for president or when you run for any political office, you can't do a television show. So I told them. And you know what? It's a little bit sad because I had this great relationship with them, and then they really dropped these young women like hot potatoes. It was terrible what they did with that and with it. So we'll see what happens. You know, NBC will be next to come. We're looking at it very seriously, and we will make a determination. But the Univision's very interesting because they had a contract that we signed in January, a very lengthy contract. They competed against Telemundo and others. They got it. It has no termination rights. They haven't even sent us a letter. They just said that you can't do that. You know, it doesn't work that way.
So
I
didn't
brought
have
a very big suit, and I think we'll be victorious in the suit. A lot of lawyers say it's very good. In fact, they had a CNN lawyer who's very respected last night go over and said, wow, this is really a real suit. He had a copy of the contract.
Well, these are important pieces of business for your portfolio. I mean, the USA pageant as well as The Apprentice. How big of a blow is this, Donald?
It's not a big monetary blow. And by the way, we're going to have the pageant is going to be on. NBC abandoned. The pageant's going to be on. I'm going to go to it. It's on in 2 weeks on Sunday. I'm going to go to it, and we're going to have it. We're going to put the pageant on. I think it would be only fair to the young women that are there. They're incredible people, and I think it would be only fair. So the pageant is going on. From a business standpoint, it's a small business for me, as are the things we're talking about. But, I mean, The Apprentice is, it has been a tremendous success over the years. But I told NBC, as you know, I'm not doing The Apprentice. They knew I'm not doing The Apprentice.
Right.
So I told them that. They were not happy with that. We did really well last year. We had wonderful ratings last year. They thought I'd do it. I ran for president. They were not happy with me running for president. In addition to that, if you look, they own MSNBC, which is a total disaster. It's a ratings disaster. They're very liberal. They hate Trump. And, you know, they're, I would say, sleepy eyes Chuck Todd. They're a man on Meet the Press who's a total catastrophe. He's at Meet the Press, and Meet the Press is doing very badly. So I would say that they have a slightly liberal tent, and we will see what happens. But I've had the one thing is, I will say, for 12 years I've had a great relationship with NBC. And it's a shame that they had to do what they did with the pageants, because what they did with the pageants was wrong. The Apprentice is fair game because I told them a long time ago I'm not doing it.
I understand.